everyone, it's Erica. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a project for a Cherry on Top crafts design team, and I'm using the Paisley Days collection from Kaisercraft. And I have the ephemera pack, these little epoxy or glass flares, and then the paper pack also comes with a 12 by 12 sticker sheet that has an alpha and then some border strips. I'm using a cut file that I got from Paige Evans' Facebook group. I cut that out on some white cardstock and just backed it with some pattern papers from the Kaisercraft paper pack. I will say that this paper is a lot thinner than normal pattern paper, so just be aware if you do purchase this. It is thinner, but it still works perfectly. It looks beautiful, and I don't have any problems with it. I've ordered Kaisercraft paper collections before, and I never have any trouble with them. I'll make sure that I leave it linked down below for you guys, so if you're interested in this collection, you can pick it up over at Cherry on Top. It is really super pretty. The colors are gorgeous, and the ephemera pieces are so pretty. The florals and everything is just so pretty. You guys will love it. So I'm just going to add some color to my background. I have a white American Crafts cardstock, and I just pulled some colors from my stash. I have some coral from Heidi Swapp Color Shine, mustard Color Shine, and then I do pull out a primrose at the end, and then I do have one of the shimmers. I think it's Jenny B Blue that I use on this layout, and all I do is just add some splatters. And I take the packaging and just kind of let the water, or not the water, but the color fall on top of the layout. Take the packaging and kind of smush it in and dab it up with a napkin, and just kind of repeat that over and over and over with the different colors that I pulled. I didn't gesso or prep my paper at all, and it didn't warp. I didn't add a whole lot of color, but the color that I did add to the layout, I usually do soak it up quite a bit with my napkin, so it was fine not adding anything to prep it. Now if I wanted to add a lot of color and a lot of water and just different layers of media, then yes, I would add gesso, because the paper would warp and it would probably rip, because all of that liquid would absorb into the paper and it would just be a mess. So this one, pretty light color, pretty light mixed media, so I didn't add any gesso. So once I have this all finished up, I'm going to, I do have the cut file already on some foam adhesive, and that is those are also from Kaisercraft. They're just some circle foam adhesive dots, and they're already all over my cut file. Usually what I do is I will remove a couple of the backings to the foam just in the center of the cut file, and I kind of remove a little bit of the stickiness. That way I can pick up and move the cut file where I want it, but when I'm ready to put it down to the paper, I will push it down pretty good and then remove the other pop dots, like from the top and the bottom of the file. This also lets me tuck things behind the cut file, or if I need to move a pop dot, I can easily pull it off, and it's not stuck down to the base I lay out, my background. Sorry. I pulled out a punch. Originally I thought I was going to add some of those border strips to the left of my page. That was my idea. I was going to put some border strips on the left of my page. The cut file would be more towards the left and my photo would be towards the right. But then I was like, let's pull out a punch and see if we can do something with that. So I found this Martha Stewart punch, and I've had it for years. I got it off HSN like years and years ago. It was like a bundle. I got like a bunch of punches, and then once a month I got a new punch. And I got rid of a lot of them, but this one I still had in my stash. And it's a heart, like doily border punch, and it's super pretty. And I'm just punching it out on some scrap paper, piece of a white American Crafts cardstock. This is like a 12 by 12 piece that I used when I cut my files for a class that I just had over the weekend. I was teaching in Lake Geneva, and I prep the class kits beforehand, and I save all my scraps after I cut my cut files, because there's a lot of white cardstock still left on there that can be used for things like this, like border punches, or I use them as layers on my photo or behind my photos on my layouts. So I punch out these strips of paper, and they're so pretty, and they're white on white, and they look so pretty on this layout, and like just delicate like lace borders. They're so pretty. So I'm just going to adhere these 2 strips down with some Tombow tape runner, and I wanted to pop up the hearts of the border punch, but there's so many little holes and little pieces that I don't have foam strips that small, and I was not about to cut them and try to make that happen, because no, it's not going to happen. So what I did was, after I adhered the bottom part of the border punch down, I'm just going to kind of lift up the edges of the border punch so that they're kind of popping up, and that's just going to add some dimension to that border punch into the layout. And I really, really like how it looks. They're still popped up now, even without foam behind them, so it worked out pretty good. I will try to find this border punch. If I can, I'll leave it linked down below. But like I said, it was such a long time ago that I purchased it, and I think it was one of those punches that was like a punch around the page, that it had a corner punch as well. So you would punch the corners and then punch the sides. I had a few of those, but I couldn't find the corner piece. So border strips it is, right? Works out. So I'm going to pull off some of these adhesives, because I think I'm going to place my photo down. I was dead set that I was going to be putting this down on the left of the page, and then my photo here that I have is of my son Grant and his date Sophia. It was their homecoming freshman year, I believe. Yes, freshman year. And I decided that the photo needs to go inside the O of the word wonderful. So I'm going to pull slowly and carefully, pull that pattern paper off the O. Thankfully, I didn't use a lot of adhesive to put that down, because it came up pretty easily. I only had to like tear a little bit off the top, and I did it really, really slow, and it did leave some of the pattern paper there, but I kind of just cut it around so that you couldn't see it. So it does work out. I'm going to place my photo where I want it under the O, and since there's still like a sticky film back there, I kind of push the photo down into that really, really well, so it'll kind of stick in place while I cut around my photo. Then I'll go back and add more adhesive, and then put the photo back underneath, and then really push that down. I just used my Tombow mono glue, and sometimes if you put your glue down and you glue it on right away, you have a little bit of wiggle room, but once it dries, it's like permanent. So if you put the glue on and let it dry for a minute, it's almost like a removable adhesive. It's like tacky, but it's not permanent. So that's one thing that I do like about the Tombow mono glue, because it's permanent if you glue it on right away and it dries. But if you put the glue on and let that dry for a minute or 2 or 3 or 4, it just becomes tacky, and it's almost like a not permanent adhesive. So that's probably what happened with the cardstock there on the O. I probably let it dry before placing the paper down, so it was a lot easier to pull off. So here are the ephemera pieces from Paisley Days, and they're so, so pretty. I'm just going to kind of go through and pull some things out that I want to use on my layout. There's this little banner here that I add right away. I love banners. Any kind of banner in an ephemera pack, I just love. If they're going to put a banner in there, you need to put like 2 or 3 of them in there, because I love banners. I'm going to pull some florals out, and then some circle tags or circle die cut pieces. And then I don't use all the pieces that I pull, but I pull some leaves out as well. I was looking for some little word strips, but there was none in there. There was some with some arrows, but I didn't really want to use arrows, so I didn't pull those out. So now I'm just going to start to add the die cuts around my layout. I love that there's florals in here, because I love to tuck the florals behind my cut files. So I'm just going to find a couple that I like. Of course, I will cut them in half so that I can place them in different spots around the layout. And I think there's like 4 or 5 different floral pieces and some different leaves and things in this ephemera pack. So I'm just going to kind of find the placement and find the perfect flower to go behind this W. And this one was a little too big, so I'm going to cut that in half, and then I place a piece of it behind the W, and then I'll place the other piece of this cut file there on the other side by the R and the N. And I use some foam adhesive behind there so that they are stuck, they're popped up. The foam adhesive that I do use to pop up the flowers is not as thick as the dimension, or not as thick as the foam adhesive that is popping up the cut file. So it's probably half the size, or half the thickness of the other adhesive, just so there's just different heights and dimension on the layout. So I'm just going to go through and add more of the florals and pop those up around the page. I love that the Paisley Days paper pack comes with 2 papers, 2 of each pattern in the kit, in the paper kit. They also have a couple other things from this collection as well in the shop. I think like a little journal, and then maybe 1 or 2 other embellishments, but I didn't pick those up. But I will leave those, like the whole collection of this, linked down below, so you can just click the link and then all of the Paisley Days will pop up for you. I do pull out these beautiful sequins from Buttons Galore. I love this sequin tin. It's got like the clear sequins that are so pretty, and you can add them to just about every layout. I will leave these linked down below as well. They're so pretty, and you get so many. I just added 3 of them around the page, and they just give a little bit of sparkle to your pages. They are so pretty. Like, if you've never purchased anything from Buttons Galore, I'll leave them linked down below so you guys can check them out. You get a ton of product for like very little. I can't remember how much the tin is, maybe $5 or $4.99 or something, but sometimes you get sequins and they come in the bags, and these come in this tin. They're nice and secure and just so easy to store. The storage is a lot, so that, I mean, it's just so easy to grab the tin that you need, open it up, get your sequins out. I always use my tweezers, and then close it back up and put it back. I have all of my Buttons Galore product in a little crate thing, and everything is just nice, neat, and secure. They also have like bottles, like jars with lids on them that they put their buttons and sequins in. So everything's really nice. The last thing I do is add my journaling with my We Are Memory Keepers typewriter. I just type it out on some strips and adhere it to my layout, and that pretty much finishes it up. I have still shots at the end, and like I said, I'll leave links down below for you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.